Welcome back, everybody, to Zlatan's Fight Picks. This is going to be the late night edition for tomorrow's UFC. October 14th, fight night, Yusoff versus Barboza. It took a while to get this out, but I am going to put this out. It is Friday night. Sorry for the delay, but I said that I was going to get it out this weekend. By hook or by crook, I'm getting it out. So here we go. Let's start. We're going to start off with the prelims and work our way to the main event. Edgar Chairez versus Daniel Lacerda. That got canceled. Just got canceled yesterday. It's too bad. I had picked Lacerda since I picked him last time. Nevertheless, we're not going to go over that one today. Moving on, Ashley Yoder versus Emily Ducote. Ashley Yoder, 5'7", 69-inch reach, 8 wins, 8 losses, 35 years old. Emily Ducote, 5'2", 63-inch reach, 12 wins, 8 losses, 29 years old. I mean, this is Ducote is heavily favored. Like, she's minus 380. It's absolutely ridiculous. This is going to be a very close fight. Ducote's working against some physical advantages. She's 5'2". She's 5 inches shorter. She is got 6-inch disadvantage in reach. She is younger. Although Ashley Yoder is 35, I don't think she's at the end of her career, but she's at the tail end of it. I don't think she's going to get better now. She's going to get only worse. She's taken like 2.5 years off. So she's been off for a while. I'm not even sure why she's off, but she has been off for a while. So here's my assessment. Ashley Yoder, she's tall, she's lanky, she's got a long reach. She does have the potential of doing front kicks where she can reach the opponent and they can't reach her, especially in this case because Ducote's a little on the shorter side. But the problem is Ashley Yoder does not fight like that. She doesn't fight like a tall person. She doesn't keep people at length. She's a grappler, basically, and so she actually wants to close the distance and grapple with you. So when she is at distance, she doesn't really strike well at distance, meaning she doesn't know how to keep people away where she hits them and they don't hit her. She gets hit just as much, pretty much most of the time, even though she probably has the option of, developing her striking a little better to where she could use her length to an advantage and then close the distance and possibly grapple up against the cage. And with Emily Ducote, I mean, she fights well at distance, but she's a little short. So at distance, she'll be at a disadvantage. But in this case, she might not be at a disadvantage because Yoder does not fight long. Having said that, Yoder wants to take Ducote on the ground. Ducote does have good takedown defense. Yoder, she decent amount of strikes. Not a lot, but she finds herself losing a lot of close decisions because her strikes aren't powerful. Sometimes they might have the volume, but they don't have a lot behind them. So she tends to lose a lot of decisions because of that. Ducote, she's a pretty good striker. She's a good technical striker. She's okay on the ground. She doesn't want to be on the ground. She's got good takedown defense. She's good off her back, but that's not where she wants to be. So I think Yoder's going to try to get Ducote on the ground. Ducote's trying to keep distance and keep it on the feet. I went back and forth on this one. I'm going to pick Ducote. I'm just thinking that Yoder, if she knew how to use her length better, she would do a little better. I think Yoder, after 2.5 years, I think she's part of the old guard and old school. I don't think she's at this level, even though Emily Ducote is not a high level. She's at the mid-range. It's going to be a really close fight. Looking at the odds, picking Ducote at minus 380 is just absolutely ridiculous. She's going to be the slight lean, although even on you'll see on my board that I've got Yoder as a possible parlay buster, where it's going to be a really close fight. Yoder might come out with a couple new tricks, 2.5 years. She could be training. She could be working on a couple things and squeak out a victory on this one. Ducote will be the pick. Very low confidence. It'd be nice to put Yoder in a parlay with plus 300. It's just, the odds are so much that, if you had an opportunity, I think Yoder would be the pick if you're as an individual bet, just because of the plus 300 odds. I don't think Ducote has shown anything to warrant the minus 380. I mean, who has she beat? She beat Jessica Penny, and she's lost against everybody else. So, having said that, Yoder hasn't been here for 2.5 years. She's not a power puncher. She's not a great, she doesn't have great takedowns. She's got good, like, she doesn't have wrestling takedowns. I think she has more like trip takedowns and stuff like that, and takedowns from the clinch position. So, I mean, there is a world where Yoder wins a close decision. But Ducote's going to be the pick. It's at the bottom end of my confidence. You know, if I had picked Ducote on one parlay, I'd probably have Ashley Yoder on a smaller parlay just as a backup, depending on how, or a bet. Nevertheless, moving on. Tanera Lisboa versus Ravina Oliveira Moraes. Tanera Lisboa, 5'6", 67-inch reach. 6 wins, 2 losses, 33 years old. Ravina Oliveira Marquez, no height for her, no reach for her. 7 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw, 26 years old. I saw the weigh-ins, so she is a little shorter. So she's 5 foot. I would say Ravina Oliveira is either 5'4" or 5'5", probably 5'4". You know, I watched some regional footage on Ravina. She is game. She's a real grinder. She's not a quitter. She'll go in there and she'll brawl and she won't quit. I find her a little slow. I don't think she's that good. I don't think she's that technical, especially in her striking. Lisboa, we know she's a technical striker. The only thing we were worried about is how good was she on the ground. And the last fight she was here, she fought Jessica Rose Clark and she submitted her. And we were worried about Lisboa having no ground game, being taken down and controlled. So she showed that she's been working on that. So I have a feeling that this fight will end up on the feet, and Lisboa, better technical striker, should dominate this. I mean, unfortunately, she's a minus 320. I mean, she's only had one fight in the UFC. Man, these odds. But I could see it because Ravina Oliveira, what I've seen on the regional scene, very average. I have been surprised before, but you know, my pick is definitely Lisboa on this one. Moving on, Terrence McKinney versus Brendan Marotte. He was Chris Duncan, but something happened and he got substituted at the last minute. Brendan Marotte's debut in the UFC. So Terrence McKinney, 5'10", 73.5-inch reach, 14 wins, 6 losses, 29 years old. Brendan Marotte, 5'7". No reach, we don't even know. This is how new this guy is. 8 wins, 1 loss, 26 years old. I mean, come on, what do we say? Terrence McKinney, he's a world beater in the first round. What happens in the second round, we don't know. He just drops off a cliff. Brendan Marotte, I mean, we don't even know who this guy is. He's the guy who took this fight. He saved this fight for the card. From what I've seen, I don't think he's that great. He's fought a lot of low-level competition, a lot of people with, upside-down records where they lost more fights than they've won. I mean, how can you even go with this guy? Like, I know Terrence McKinney, I'm waiting to fade him against a decent guy. I was going to fade him against Duncan, because if Duncan could have survived the first round, then he probably would have taken it. But Brendan Marotte, I mean, you can't go with this guy. At minus 550 for Terrence McKinney, I don't even know if you can bet on Terrence McKinney. I mean, there's no money in there anyways. But as a pick, Terrence McKinney should get this done. Whether you put him in a parlay or bet on him, I mean, that's everybody's decision. But is it worth it? Minus 550, that's crazy. Not to say that I won't do it. But just saying, that's the logical way to think. Next fight, Irina Alekseeva versus Melissa Dixon. Irina Alekseeva, 5'8", 67-inch reach, 5 wins, 1 loss, 33 years old. Melissa Dixon, 5'7", no reach. I didn't even put in I think she's undefeated. She's undefeated, but I did not write that down. She's 32 years old. So they're the same age. I think Melissa Dixon, let's see where she is. I don't know why I didn't write that down. Either that or it wasn't there. But let's see here. UFC schedule. Where's that? Well, I will see it right now because it's bothering me that I don't have it. Here we go. Okay. 5 wins, 0 losses. You can note that. 5 wins, 0 losses. 68-inch reach. So 68-inch reach. She's 1 inch shorter, 68-inch reach. 5 wins, 0 and 0. So basically almost the same record, almost the same height, almost the same age. These guys are very close to each other. And Melissa Dixon minus 150, Arina Alexieva plus 125. I watch Melissa Dixon. She doesn't have good striking. She has okay striking. She's got terrible striking defense. She takes a lot of punishment. Basically, she takes a lot of punishment, gets closer and closer to you, gets you up against the fence, grinds you, and eventually takes you down with a trip, and then tries to get on top of you and ground and pound you. That's her method of victory. And I don't know. I wasn't terribly impressed with the fight she's had, but it's hard to tell if it's just she hasn't had a chance to fight better competition. But Arina Alexieva, I picked her in her last fight. She was an underdog. She's an underdog in this fight. But what I saw is somebody who's very aggressive, throws really powerful, and has some ground defense, takedown defense, and take submissions. I mean, she won her last fight with knee bar. So, I mean, the girls, and she fought against a judoka. So she fought against someone who's a medalist or went into the Olympics with judo. So Arina Alexieva is good on the ground as well. I think here's the thing. Melissa Dixon has fought in people who once on the ground couldn't get back up. I don't think that's Alexieva. I think Alexieva has a pretty decent ground game. I think she can get back up. I think she's the more powerful striker. I just can't believe she's actually an underdog. I don't know what people are seeing. I think she started as a favorite and she went to the underdog. So maybe a lot of people from the UK are just betting because Dixon's from the UK and they're just padding it because I can't see her winning this fight. Arina Alexieva seems like a really exciting fighter. She swings big. She's got a lot of power in her hands. Dixon is the kind of person who eats a lot of shots. I mean, apart from her getting her on the ground, and even then, I don't know if Alexieva will stay on the ground. So people are thinking that Dixon will keep her on the ground and pound her. So I don't see it. I see Alexieva winning this fight. So that's my pick. Mid-range too. I think she's a pretty good underdog. Good bet on that one. Moving on, Chris Gutierrez versus Alatang Lee. Chris Gutierrez, 5'9", 67-inch reach, 19 wins, 4 losses, 32 years old. Alatang Lee, 5'5", 66-inch reach, 16 wins, 8 losses, 2 draws, 31 years old. Apparently there looks like a 4-inch height difference. I didn't see that there were that much of a difference. Maybe 2 inches. It's kind of weird. They didn't seem that different in height. Maybe 3, definitely not 4. They're both, Gutierrez is 32 years old. Alatang Lee is 31. I mean, Alatang Lee is a pretty tough character, but I think Gutierrez is definitely fought the better competition. I think Gutierrez is one of those upper mid-range, just below the top type of guys. I don't think he's a top 10 guy. He's definitely a top 15 guy, where Alatang Lee, I don't see him in the top 15. I see him kind of, in the mid-range 20s or 30s, kind of ranking. I just see certain levels that these guys can reach. And I think Chris Gutierrez is going to be at a higher level than Alatang Lee in his striking. He's going to be able to keep him at distance and kick him like Gutierrez does. And I think he's going to win this fight in a decision. He's a minus 290 favorite. I mean, there's a high degree of confidence in people for him to win. I could see why they're doing it. Alatang Lee is an exciting fighter. I just think he's fighting above his ability here. I think Gutierrez is going to win this. So, moving on. Darren Elkins versus TJ Brown. Darren Elkins, 5'10", 71-inch reach, 28 wins, 11 losses, 39 years old. TJ Brown, 5'9", 72-inch reach, 17 wins, 10 losses, 33 years old. Hey, same height, same reach, within an inch, either way. Same losses. Darren Elkins fought way more, 6 years older. Darren Elkins, okay, every fight you've seen him fade and fade and fade. He is 39 years old now. This could be his retirement fight. I know they had said that he didn't want to fight past 40, and I think 40 is coming up pretty soon. This could be the fight he retires on. Now, here's the problem. Darren Elkins is not the Darren. If Darren, this was 2 years ago, Darren Elkins all the way. Okay, Darren Elkins is tough. He's durable. He doesn't quit, and you can't break him. He'll just keep going and keep fighting. He's got this weird way of landing punches, even though they seem looping and they're not very technical. He lands his punches. Maybe it's because people are expecting a takedown, and when he comes throwing, they get caught. He got pretty good takedowns, and when he's on the ground, he's got great scrambling and jiu-jitsu, and he gets people in submissions when they're thinking they're safe, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, he's winning a last-minute, third round grind where he's been beaten for the last 2.5 rounds, and he pulls off a submission win kind of thing. So that's vintage Elkins, but this is 39-year-old Elkins. TJ Brown, he is an amazing underachiever. He's just a guy who comes in there, makes a lot of bad decisions, seems to have a lot of physical ability. And I said that last time I picked against him with Algio. I just said he just looks like he's top tier. But somehow his striking looks so devastating, and his takedowns look so devastating against the mid-range guys or below, especially the guys below mid-range. But once he gets to the mid-range guys or above, it's just not enough. The power's not enough. The scrambling's not enough. And no matter how hard he tries, that's his ability. And he can look really good against the lower tier guys, very good all around, and even the mistakes he makes, he can overcome because of that. So this is a tough pick. I mean, you're talking about a guy who's way better skill for skill, Darren Elkins, who is basically a shadow of himself. Not like a shadow, but I mean, he's definitely, at 75% of where he used to be, or 80% of where he used to be, let's say. And you got DJ Brown, who is not as good as the best Darren Elkins. So the decision is, this guy's young, he's hungry. Is he going to be able to pull this off? Or does Darren Elkins have one more grind in him, and to capitalize on a TJ Brown mistake? And that's, I had flip-flopped. I actually picked TJ Brown at first. But then the more I thought about it, the more I thought, you know what? I think Darren Elkins might have one more in him. And he is the underdog. So it's a low confidence pick. I'm thinking Darren Elkins gets the victory and retires after this fight. That's what I'm thinking. But it'll be close. And even though he is not nearly the fighter he used to be, I just have this feeling he can pull this off against TJ Brown. And TJ Brown will be like one of those TJ Brown traditional, oh shucks, golly gee, if I just made one mistake and I almost did it. It's like, just kind of used to seeing that from him. He just doesn't seem like he's a clutch guy. When it comes down to it, he's gonna lose. Even though he's showing all the right things. Like, it's just weird. Like, he's just the kind of guy that finds a way to lose. Like, it's just weird. I can't put my finger on it. Because he looks sensational. He's strong. He's very physical. I just can't put a bet on him. I just feel like he's going to find a way to lose. I don't know how. So Darren Elkins is the kind of guy who finds a way to win. So this is almost a perfect match. Even though Darren Elkins is at a lower level now, he's slipping. Darren Elkins will be the pick. Okay, let's see what happens. Moving on to the main card. Christian Rodriguez versus Cameron Simon. Christian Rodriguez, 5'7", 71.5-inch reach, 9 wins, 1 loss, 25 years old. Cameron Simon, 5'8", 67-inch reach, 9 wins, 0 losses, 22 years old. They're both young. Simon is very young, very inexperienced. Christian Rodriguez got a lot more experience than him. It says Christian Simon is 5'8", this guy's 5'7". There was at least 2.5 to 3 inch difference in height. I don't even know how they got these measurements. I was looking at it. I mean, it's got to be at least, let's say, 2 to 3 inches in height difference, not 1 inch. It was noticeable. So Christian Rodriguez is a lot shorter than 1 inch shorter than Simon. He definitely in the 2.5, 3 inch range shorter than Simon. Who knows about the reach? That's the 2.5 inch reach advantage supposedly, but I mean, who knows if that's true? I don't know who's measuring these guys, but they don't look the height they say they are. Nevertheless, here's the thing. Christian Rodriguez up to now has never fought a purely striking guy. He's got good striking. He's primarily a boxer. He does have a few good kicks, but he's a really good striker. Very good technical striker, technical boxer type of striker. He's also really good on the ground. And as he saw him in the last few fights, he's actually only been fighting ground guys, wrestlers, jiu-jitsu guys. That's all he's fighting. He actually hasn't fought a striker in the UFC. So this is going to be a fight that we've actually never seen him engage in, which worries me because I've never seen him with a full-blown striker. Cameron Simon is a full-blown striker. Even though the last fight he took the guy down, he wanted to show he can out-grapple him. I mean, I don't think Cameron Simon, that's going to be his path to victory, because even if he can take Rodriguez down, Rodriguez has got great get-up game, great defensive skills, and he can quickly reverse the position. He's definitely going to have the advantage on the ground. If Simon thinks he's going to take him to the ground, I think he's going to be in trouble. So Simon's going to strike. And Simon's not as good technically a striker, and I don't think he's got good defense, but he's a great kicker. So from range, and seeing how much taller he was, he's going to have even a bigger advantage than I thought. From range, he's going to be able to kick the crap out of Rodriguez. Rodriguez has got to close that distance to the boxing range. And once he's in the pocket, then that's going to be Rodriguez's world. He's slick, he's quick, and he's making all the right decisions in there. And he's very calm, like just a natural born killer. So both prospects, both guys I want to see, both guys I like betting on as well. But, in this case, I mean, at first glance, I was thinking it's Simon, and then I kind of looked at the tape, and I'm there like, it's hard to make a judgment on Rodriguez because, like I said, he's already fought just ground guys. He hasn't fought a full-blown striker. Simon has fought a striker. He fought Mana Martinez, and he took a lot of shots, and he won that fight decisively, and he's also created a lot of fouls. I mean, the other knock on Simon is he could very well lose this by fouling Rodriguez and getting points taken away. So, nevertheless, Rodriguez has got to close the distance, I think, in boxing range and in clinch position and on the ground. Rodriguez has got the advantage from distance, from kicking range. Simon's got the advantage. I'm thinking Rodriguez at some point is going to close the distance. I think Rodriguez got better striking defense. Cameron's got worse striking defense. So after that, I thought about it. Okay, I think I'm going to go with Christian Rodriguez. He is a slight favorite. Going to go with him. Fairly confident that he can win this. I think he's also got a lot more experience, and that's going to help in this fight. And I think he's going to win the decision. It's going to be a close decision, but I think Rodriguez is going to pull this off. So let's move on. Could talk about this fight forever. Actually, I'm really looking forward to that fight. That's going to be really good. There's a couple of fights on this card that are really going to be fantastic. Like this is a good card. Like people, I don't know, like I want to see Alexieva again. I mean, because of the quick submission last time. I want to see Lacerda again. I mean, I'm excited for Elkins just because of my pick, but Cameron Simon Rodriguez is going to be an exciting fight. Moving on, Andre Petroski versus Michel Pereira. Andre Petroski, 6'1", 73 inch reach, 10 wins, 2 losses, 32 years old. Michel Pereira, 6'1", 73 inch reach, 28 wins, 11 losses, 29 years old. Both young, both in their prime. What can you say? Petroski, 6'1". I think Pereira's about an inch taller. Depending on how they're measuring. Andre Petroski took this in short notice. I've never been an Andre Petroski fan. I actually thought he's actually made quite a few improvements. From what I saw him, he was this wrestler, and I saw him on The Ultimate Fighter and everything else. I never really thought he was that good, although his striking has improved. His cardio is hit or miss. Sometimes it looks really good, sometimes it doesn't look so good. And Michel Pereira, he's always been a prospect. But he is moving up to middleweight. I think he should be at middleweight. He's having a hard time reaching 170, and quite a few times he's been overweight. The last fight, he was supposed to fight with Wonder Boy. Wonder Boy pulled out because he was 4 pounds overweight. He's having a hard time reaching that weight. He's really big for that division. And that's why I always used to pick him, is because he's so large. It helps him with his takedown defense. Although he's never fought a pure wrestler before. All the guys he's fought are mainly strikers. Some guys dabble in taking people down. He's actually never fought a pure wrestler. This is one thing that I picked him and then I kind of hummed and hawed about, because he's never fought a pure wrestler. He's actually moving up in weight, so now he doesn't have that huge size advantage to fight off takedowns. And Andre Petroski is very muscular, very powerful. His striking is getting better, but his striking defense is not so good. Michel Pereira, he doesn't necessarily stand in front of you. He's going to run around the ring and run around the ring and run around the ring. I think Andre Petroski is going to have a hard time getting to him, because he's not going to stand straight in front of him for him to shoot a double leg. But when Michel Pereira does stop the strike, that's going to be the opportunity for Petroski to try take him down. And hopefully he's not square when he does that with Petroski, so he can drop his level and take him down. But Michel Pereira is explosive. Maybe he can catch him with a knee. And that's what it's going to come down to, is can Andre Petroski not get hit and not get knocked out? And if he is absorbing shots, to be able to time it to take Pereira down. And that's going to be the battle right there, because Pereira's never fought a wrestler as good as Petroski. So this is going to be a tough one to pick, because you've never seen Pereira against such a strong wrestler. And Petroski has surprised me, has looked better, but I've never been super impressed with him. Even his last fight with Mearschart, I actually bet on Mearschart. It was a split decision loss. But again, Petroski wasn't fighting a striker. He was fighting a grappler. Before that, he was fighting a grappler. But in both cases, he did not do that great in the striking department against both grapplers. So I would imagine Pereira is going to be able to do a lot better against him than the other grapplers who were putting it on Petroski for those fights. For the fight, which is Truman did pretty good with his kicks, and then Mearschart did pretty good with his boxing. So I'm thinking Michel's going to be a lot better and land a lot more. So Pereira's going to be the pick. I'm not happy with the odds. It was minus 205 is not too bad. It's still there, right? Minus 205. That's not too bad. I mean, compared to minus 300, 370, 500, yeah, it's not too bad. I mean, it's not great. But compared to some of the ones that are just stacked, it's not too bad. But Pereira's going to be the pick. I think Petroski, short notice, is going to have a hard time with absorbing some of the punishment. Even if he's going full-blown takedowns, he's going to be able to, he might gas. Michel Pereira, his questions about his cardio, actually, I'm not going to have as many now because his weight cut's not going to be as bad. He's fighting at middleweight. He's going to have probably better cardio because of it. Michel Pereira is going to be the pick. Moving on, Jonathan Martinez versus Adrian Yanez. Jonathan Martinez, 5'8", 70-inch reach, 18 wins, 4 losses, 29 years old. Adrian Yanez, 5'7", 78-inch reach, 16 wins, 4 losses, 29 years old. Almost the same height, same reach, almost the same record, same years. I mean, it was a pick 'em, and I had originally picked Adrian Yanez, and after evaluating everything, I stuck with it. So, Jonathan Martinez, I mean, he beat Said Nurmagomedov, which I bet on. He totally surprised everybody. His heart, his grind, you know, his in clinch positions, fighting. And the one thing we gotta realize is Jonathan Martinez is going to fight probably preferably at distance, and that's why I was so surprised at how well he did. He did well in the scrambling, in the grappling, and up against the fence in the clinch position. So he definitely is pretty good all around. He's really good from distance. He's got nasty kicks, low kicks, mid-range kicks, head kicks. This guy is a kicking machine. So he's very dangerous from the outside. That's his path to victory. He's like literally won fights just by kicking other people's legs. Very nasty kicks. Adrian Yanez, he's fought against guys who have very nasty kicks, has managed to survive and gotten in range. He is a very good boxer striker. Not so much kicks, but he does have kicks, but nothing like Martinez. But his hands are the key. So he's got to get in from the kicking range into the boxing range without taking too much damage to his legs. But once he gets in the pocket, he's going to have advantage. He's going to have a huge advantage with his hands. And they've been moving this guy up quite a bit, quite fast. And he lost against Font. I actually bet against him. Even though he was the favorite, I thought Font could beat him. He's still young. He's still developing. I think he's close to that range. I think he's a little bit better than Martinez. I think he's been in a position where he's gotten leg kicks and people have tried to take him down, and he's still managed to pull off a victory. I think he's really good with his hands. He's got a good chin, even though he got knocked off for the first time last time. Martinez has been knocked out before as well. I'm surprised that Martinez, well, not surprised necessarily, it was a pick 'em, but Martinez is the favorite. Yanez is the underdog. My pick is going to be Yanez. He's going to be the underdog play here. Fairly confident that he's going to win this. I think he's going to get inside, and then he's just going to outland Martinez. Even though Martinez has been surprising me as of late, especially against Said Nurmagomedov, he has surprised me. But Said has disappointed me in the past, where he's lost against guys he shouldn't have lost against. Nevertheless, I think the striking and the boxing of Yanez is going to be the difference. He's got a decent amount of volume, and he's going to be in close. He's going to land a lot of shots. I think he's going to win the decision. And I think he's got pretty good takedown defense. So he's going to be the pick. Moving on. Jennifer Maia versus Vivian Araujo. Jennifer Maia, 5'4", 64-inch reach, 21 wins, 9 losses, 34 years old. Vivian Araujo, 5'4", 68-inch reach, 11 wins, 5 losses, 36 years old. Vivian Araujo, very powerful, very good on the ground. I find her a little slow. She's 36 years old. I've also seen her slow down a little bit. I don't think she's as good as she used to be. And I'm not saying by a lot, but just a little bit. You just see her slowing down the last little bit. I think she's susceptible to people who have really good striking skills or a little faster. Maia, very slick. She's got good striking defense. She's a good boxer, and she's good in close, and she gets shots off really quick, and she's got a decent amount of volume. Araujo has problems with strikers that have a lot of volume. So going from that, I think Maia's got decent kicks, so does Araujo. Araujo's going to be better on the ground. Maia's actually pretty good on the ground. She's got good defense. I think takedown defense. I don't know. She has been held on the ground by really good grapplers. I don't know if the Araujo can do that to her. I'm thinking she can keep it on the ground, and when it stays on the ground, I think she's going to have a very high volume, and I think Araujo is going to have a problem with that volume, and she's going to lose the decision here. I need some wings. I need Red Bull wings. So, looking at that, Maya is a slight favorite. I like Arroyo. I just think I think Maya's been, like, I never had that much faith in Maya. I just thought she was a mid-range fighter, kind of fighting above her head, and I just seen her make some improvements in her boxing in the last year and a half that I didn't expect, and she just become a lot slicker. So I think that is going to be the case. I think Arroyo lost against a fight with what's her name? Oh, I can't remember. And the other Brazilian, and she fought. I mean, she lost it basically by getting outstruck. And so if you put a lot of pressure and a lot of heat and a lot of strikes on her, she's slower, so she doesn't throw as much volume. She's going to win. I think Maya's going to win this on sheer volume, and she's a good slick boxer, and she's not going to get hit as much. Even though Arroyo does have power, it's slow. Moving on. Sadiq Yusoff versus Edson Barboza. Sadiq Yusoff, 5'9", 71-inch reach, 13 wins, 2 losses, 30 years old. Edson Barboza, 5'11", 75-inch reach, 23 wins, 11 losses, 37 years old. Barboza, 37. He's at the tail end of his career. Yes, he is. I haven't seen him slow down, but he's definitely at that point where what you see is what you get. Yusoff has been improving. Sadiq Yusoff, I mean, have you seen the size of this guy's head? Like, this guy can take some punches, for sure. Sadiq Yusoff, you know, he has been chinned before. He has been, like, hurt, flash kind of hurt, but he recovers quickly. So I haven't seen him knocked out, but I have seen him hurt. I mean, I've seen Barboza hurt. But Sadiq Yusoff, you know, you think of him as a really tough, durable guy, and he is. But he can get hurt, but he recovers quickly. He's good everywhere. Like, I didn't think he was that fast. I always thought he was kind of slow. But, you know, the more I watch his fights, the more I realize, you know, the guy's actually pretty decent volume. He's got a lot of forward pressure. His hands are pretty good. His kicks are pretty good. He's pretty good on the ground. He's hard to keep him down. He gets right back up. He doesn't want to fight on the ground, but he has abilities on the ground. But he uses those abilities to get back up. I mean, Edson Barboza's he's okay on the ground. He can get held on the ground once he's on the ground by really good grapplers, but he does got great takedown defense. So that's the part you got to get through. Edson Barboza is a little taller. He's got a longer reach. He's very dangerous, very explosive. I mean, I see this fight playing out very similar to the Quarantillo fight with Barboza. Sadiq Yusoff fights with a lot of forward pressure. He's got a good gas tank, and he puts it on people, and he usually breaks them. Edson Barboza doesn't fight good in reverse. He doesn't respond well to people putting a lot of pressure on him. That doesn't say he breaks right away, but he needs that space to attack and explode. And when he gets continually on the defensive, it wears on him. Here's the thing. When Barboza fought Quarantillo, he knocked out Quarantillo. And I actually had money, I bet on Barboza. I had thought he could knock out Quarantillo. But if you watch that fight, Quarantillo kept chasing him and chasing him and chasing him and chasing him. And he was slowly starting to catch up to him and landing on him and landing on him and landing on him. It was wearing on Barboza. And Barboza kept trying to step back and strike, step back and strike. And, you know, if Barboza doesn't knock out Quarantillo, I think Quarantillo might have just done what he does and basically wore him out in the 3 rounds and won that fight. That's what I think, by the way things were looking. But Barboza landed that punch and knocked him out. And knocked out Quarantillo, and I don't think he's been knocked out before. Sadiq Yusoff, he's going to fight the similar way. He's going to put a lot of pressure on Edson. He's going to come forward. And now it's a matter of this 5-round fight. is Edson Barboza going to be able to knock this guy out? Because I don't see another path to victory. I think Edson Barboza needs to knock Yusoff out to win this. Otherwise, Yusoff is going to keep coming forward and keep coming forward for 5 rounds and outpoint Barboza. Having said that, I mean, yeah, I just can't see it playing out any other way. So, do you think Edson Barboza is going to knock out Yusoff? Or is Yusoff going to be withstand the pressure? I mean, that's what we thought about Carantillo. I thought he could knock out Carantillo. He did. Yusoff, I mean, I'm leaning towards Yusoff. Sadiq is young. He's puts a lot of pressure. He doesn't break easy. He's good on the ground. I don't think he's going to go on the ground. This is going to be a stand-up fight. Edson Barboza does have a shot at this, and this is my clean pick will be Sadiq Yusoff, where I think he's going to be able to win this by decision. Edson Barboza does have a chance to catch him, but I think Yusoff should win this. But what I'm going to do and what I've done in certain, and I'm going to start doing this in all my main event fights for myself, is my pick is Yusoff, but I'm picking both. I'm going to have a parlay with Yusoff in it, and I'm going to have a parlay with Barboza in it. And I found that's really worked well for me because you just don't know what's going to happen in the main event. I mean, look at last main event with Green. I did that. It was a good play. There was no way we thought Green was going to win, and he won. I did that with Gamrot. I didn't think Gamrot was going to win, but he won. I didn't do that with Adesanya and Strickland. And I only had Adesanya. And guess what happened? So I'm never doing that again. So I'm going to pick both of them. My straight pick will be Yusoff, but I am going to pick both of them in my parlays. So we'll leave it at that. Let's see what's going on the board. What do we got here? Let's see. Hopefully we can see this. Can we see that? Yeah, that's good. All right. This is a list of most confident to least confident. I've got the double pick where I got Yusoff and Barboza at the bottom end of it. Really, Yusoff will be somewhere in this range here, you know. But I am putting them here just, it's easier to read the board, easier to pick my parlays, knowing that I'm going to pick both of them. So they are at the tail end of it. I mean, I could have put actually at the first of it, but because it's not my most confident pick, it would just kind of look odd. But really, I could have put them up there and picked them both going from here, which I could do anyway. So you can put both of them anywhere really with any combination. So again, this is not financial advice. Only bet what you can afford to lose. Take all my information, my analysis, and use it with yours. See what you agree with and use it for your own parlays. What I'd like to do is I've got, these are my most confident, and I kind of cut it off here. And the second section will be the B, kind of the B side to this, adding with this layer of confidence. And then I got the final layer of confidence, which is the lowest end confidence down here. So I got McKinney, of course. I mean, McKinney should waste this guy, right? Minus 550. I don't know if you want to take the bet, but McKinney should waste this guy. Gutierrez, he should win this fight. You know, it's minus 280, but yeah. Rodriguez, he should win this fight. He is my third most confident pick. I think he's going to pull this off. Minus 155 is not too bad. Pereira, he's fourth most confident, minus 205. It's going to be close. I still think he's the more talented fighter than Petroski. I think Petroski is going to be exposed a little bit here. And it's hard to tell. I mean, he is a good wrestler. He could always rely on that, right? But Pereira is going to be the next one. Yanez, he is the underdog. It's my first underdog play. I think he's going to win this, and he's in the first top 5. I moved all the women down here. Remember what happened last week? I had the women up here, and I said I don't normally do that. I have them in the lower sections just because it's so unpredictable when they're fighting. and they're always the fights are so close. You never know which decision is going to happen, which way it's going to go. Nevertheless, Lisboa is going to be in this position is the sixth position. At minus 320, it's ridiculous, but yeah, I think she should win it. Fairly high confident of all the women. I think I'm most confident in her. Maya as well. I think she's going to win a decision. Alexieva, she is the underdog. It's hard to see what Dixon's going to bring at this level, but she is an underdog. I am picking her. Next section. What's that? Basically number 9. Ducote versus Yoder. I put Parlay Buster here. This is one of those fighters. You don't know what Yoder's going to come in looking like. She could come in with a few improvements and beat Ducote. She's got a huge size advantage and reach advantage. If she actually used it, she could win this fight just because she can get points from the outside. She can get points from the clinches and the grappling on the inside. And the in-between will be Ducote's. Now, is she smart enough to do that? She generally isn't. She generally doesn't use that strategy. She just wants to go in and brawl and throw some punches and try getting the clinch and get in the ground. She's basically not using her physical attributes. So, yes, I'm picking Ducote. Yes, there is one parlay that I'm throwing Yoder in just to make it interesting. It's plus 300. There is an opportunity for her to win. We still don't know, and here's the thing. You don't know what she's going to look like, but you don't know how bad she's going to look. But you also don't know how good she can look. And Ducote is not some stellar fighter to be minus 380. She hasn't even beaten anybody serious yet. So, I always think she's been overrated, personally. So, nevertheless, Ducote's going to be the pick. It's a good underdog play as Yoder. Second least, most confident pick, Elkins. I put here, possible retirement fight. This could be a good retirement fight. This is a good fight where he wins and retires. So I'm going to go with Elkins. He's not as good as he used to be, but he's pretty good. Don't have any confidence in TJ Brown. Only beats the lowest level competition. I think even Elkins at his worst, which is right now, is still in the mid-level competition range. I think he wins this one. Moving on, Lacerda. Lacerda was the pick. I mean, because of the last fight, I don't know why he was such a big underdog. I still think he had an opportunity. But nevertheless, it's canceled. We'll wait for this fight to come up again. So, nevertheless, moving on. Yusoff Barboza. Yusoff is the pick, but I am picking both. Every time I pick him, I put this guy in a parlay. I will not let it slip away again with the main event. But he should have. He is a favorite for a reason. Barboza does. He's a live dog with the knockout. He's always dangerous. This guy's always dangerous. But it just, is he going to find that shot? Nevertheless, I'm picking both. And that's that. Oh, oops. Too close. It's late. Thank you very much for joining me. Sorry it's so late. Hopefully I'll just get it out earlier next week. Next week I'm a little more free, trying to get this a video Wednesday or Thursday. Good luck, everybody. Don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to share the video if you want to share it. That helps with the algorithm as well. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed and you get notifications, because I kind of make my videos at any moment and all kinds of times. If you subscribe, you'll get notifications of when it's out. Otherwise, good luck on the fights tomorrow. I will do a recap video probably Tuesday, and hopefully it'll be all green check marks for everybody, and we'll be high-fiving each other through the internet. All right, good luck, everybody. Thank you very much. See you on Tuesday.